So most people have a portfolio that looks like this, which is they've got a salary that comes in and they've got a bunch of money that they're putting into their pension, and then that's it. And they're hoping that their pension is going to become worth something at the end of their life when they retire. Is that you? Put a Y in the chat if that's you, if all you have is a salary and perhaps a pension. Put a Y in the chat if that's you. Put an N in the chat if that's not you. But the point is, this is what the rich class have. Okay? The rich class are incredibly diversified, and they have way more streams of income than just a basic salary. Okay? They might have property that brings them rental income. They might have holdings in gold or crypto that's going up. They might have some securities which are bringing them passive income in the form of dividends. They might have mutual funds and stocks and things like that. They might have, as well as the pension, as well as the salary, and they might have a whole bunch of other things. You know, they'll have insurance. Okay. So who do you want to be? Do you want to be the normal guy, or do you want to be on the rich side of the equation? Put an N for normal and an R for rich. Okay. In the chat now, please. Okay. So these are the 8 rules of the private investor. Just to gloss through them. The first one is to understand the terminology. What's the difference in assets and liabilities, financial independence and financial freedom, investments and investing. The second rule is to follow the 5 commandments of the private investor, which are to save 10% of all your income. And this is the magic thing. You can always start wherever you are. It doesn't matter how much you earn. You can always live on 10% less. Okay, so you can save 10% of your income, control your income and expenditure, protect your money from losses, learn how to invest, always learn how to earn more. The third rule of the private investor is actually financial plan. Always make a financial plan. Diversify your pot is the 4th rule. The 5th rule is maintain discipline, which is basically follow the financial plan and maintain your discipline. Know that you made a plan and stick to it. The 6th rule of the private investor, don't be greedy and don't be lazy. Okay, and take action. Number 7, always learn about investing. And number 8, always be learning how to increase your income. Okay, so without further ado, let's go actually into the rules. So put an 8 in the chat if you're excited to learn about the 8 rules of the private investor. Put an 8 in the chat if this is new for you. Put an 8 in the chat if it's not new for you. Put an 8 in the chat just because you're going to put an 8 in the chat. Okay, thank you. So the first thing is understand the terminology. There's a difference between financial freedom and financial independence. There's a difference between assets and liabilities, and there is a difference between investments and investing. Okay, so we're going to take this one by one. So first of all, we're going to look at what's the difference between financial independence and financial freedom. Basically, if you know that you have enough money in the bank in savings that say you can go for 20 years if you're frugal and if nothing changes and your basket of goods, monthly basket of goods never goes up, then you are independent because you know that you can go for 20 years without needing to have a job. Okay, so put an I in the chat if you understand that financial independence is pretty awesome, to not have to have a job and to have savings in the bank. Okay, but here's the thing. What happens if your basket of goods goes up and it doesn't stretch as far? What happens if you wind up spending on loads of other different courses and things, and then actually your pot just kind of doesn't last as long as you thought it was going to do, right? So here's the other option, is financial freedom. Financial freedom is basically if you have enough income coming into your account that is hopefully passive, that is passive, that is taking care of your monthly expenditure, then you are free. Put an F in the chat if you understand that financial freedom is pretty cool, because you are financially free, that you don't have to have a job because you've got enough streams of passive income that is reliably covering your outgoings every month. You don't have to do anything. And the more that comes in that's on top of that, that's more play money if you want. Or, well, you should always be saving 10%, remember. Hello, Rowena. Thank you for joining us. What is the difference between assets and liabilities? Does anyone remember Elena introduced Robert Kiyosaki earlier? Okay. Yes, Raji, that is correct. It's financial freedom, and well done for saying financial freedom, not financial independence, okay? Because it is financial freedom. Okay, so who knows the difference between assets and liabilities? Okay, someone briefly summarize what you think is the difference between assets and liabilities. And while you're doing that, okay, so basically I'm just going to spell it out. Assets are things that bring you a net income. So if you own a house and you are living in it and you are paying a mortgage, and then every now and then you need to paint it, this is not actually an asset. It's costing you money. It's a net loss, right? And it's depreciating maybe in value over time. But if you take that same house and you put it up for rent, and actually you have other tenants coming in, or you've got rental income, such that it is paying for the mortgage and it is paying for the depreciation of the house, and it is a net income, it is now an asset. Okay, so if you understand that basic thing, put an A in the chat. Assets bring in money and liabilities cost you money. Okay, so who is rethinking whether they have assets or liabilities? Think about your car, think about your house, think about just all the things that you wind up spending money on, and do they actually make you any money, right? So the next thing is to understand the difference between investments and investing. Basically, there are many different things that you can invest in. Okay, you can make a deposit in a bank. I mean, I'm not going to read through all these things on the slide. You can read it yourself. But you can invest in any of these instruments, and there are many different instruments that you can invest in. So an investment is something that you can put your money in the hope that it will go up in value. Put a Y in the chat if you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, put a Y in the chat if you understand that is what an investment is. Oh, that's interesting. I thought it was going to show a slide about investing. Investing is merely the operation of investing in investments. And actually, you want to invest intelligently. So you want to become someone who is investing with financial intelligence, so that you know how to do your research and you know how to get into things that actually will be fruitful investments. And you know what time frame to expect those fruit to bear. Okay, so the second rule of the private investor is to always follow the 5 commandments of the private investor. And the first one is to save 10 to 30% of your income. Now, some people think this is easier said than done. Put a Y in the chat if you think this is easier said than done. Put a Y in the chat if you have a hard time saving 10% of your income. Okay, so Raju, anyone else? Put a Y in the chat if you think 10% of your income is going to be tough. Okay, so this is the awesome thing. I had a really great, I'm going to give you just a really tiny little bit of advice, because here's the thing, even if you don't have much income and you don't have much money and you're struggling, then actually you're struggling anyway, so you might as well just live on 10% less, because struggling on $100 and struggling with $90 is really not much different. Okay, struggling with $10 or struggling with $9, it's not much different. But that magic 10%, if you put that into something, if you consistently save it over time, such that eventually you are then able to put it into something that has really amazing ability to grow, then actually you can still, like, you know, it's still difficult on 90%, but at least you have 10% working for you. Okay, so that's the first thing, 10%. The second thing is you have to control your expenses. So, you know, I'll show you a little bit more about that in the coming slides. But the third rule, the third commandment of the private investor is to protect your money. So make sure you look after your money, know how to look after your money, know how to identify what's a waste of money and what is a good investment, and what is, you know, what I help, you know, how you can maintain your expenses, cut down your expenses, and bring up your income. Okay, and when you learn to do these things, by the way, honestly, life changes. And I've been there, and I know people that are there right now, and that I know people that are turning the corner. You should always invest in your learning. Learning is the first thing. And there are plenty of things you can come to for free, like this webinar on a Tuesday, or on Thursday, we give a different webinar. These are free. There's a lot of free information online. There's a lot of free information from, you know, from people that you know, okay? You can get audios, you can watch YouTube videos. There's so many places to get free information. Read websites and things like that, forums. You can always learn to earn more. And this is all, you know, this is all about being creative. It's all about learning. Your mindset is key. So these are the second rule, which is to follow the 5 commandments of the private investor. So look, okay, investing is in the wrong place. I thought that I moved this slide, but I didn't. But I'll gloss over this. We don't need to look at this. Let's look at income and expenditure. You see, I learned this on a slide. I learned this on a webinar with Elena a few months ago. So if you were to really look and dive deep into your expenses, your income and expenditure, you might find you only have like a salary and a pension, remember? So put a Y in the chat if you recognize that maybe you only have one source of income and you have more streams of more money streams going out. So if you have like a car payment, if you have rent, if you have a mortgage, if you have food to pay for, if you have, I don't know, kids to pay for, if you've got debts, if you've got credit cards, basically you've got more streams going out of your account than you have streams coming into your account. Put a Y in the chat if that is you, okay? And guys, remember, the more you participate, then the more I know that that I'm actually giving you information that you want to learn, okay? Guys, put a Y in the chat. You don't have to be shy. And actually, if you put a Y in the chat, more of this I know will sink in. Okay? Let's have some more whys in the chat. There's enough of you on here. Okay. Okay, thank you, Yasmin. Thank you. Thank you, Livik. Thank you. And welcome, by the way. You're a new face, I think. You're a new handle. And thank you, Raju. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Yeah, the more you participate, the more you will learn, because the more it'll lock in. Okay. But also take notes, because taking notes, you know, locks this stuff in. So here's the thing. When you get to the point, if you're saving 10% of your income, that first commandment, okay, and the first rule of the private investor, and you're putting it into something that's going to grow, then actually, you know, it might be a slog for the first, you know, few kind of years or something, but eventually, and we have a really incredible model in Elena, who was this, she was doing it one way, but now she's got more streams coming in. Well, I'm not sure if she's there yet, but the point is, if you wind up turning the tables and you've got more streams of income than you have streams that are going out of your account, then you know that you are winning. Okay, so put an E in the chat if that sounds really exciting. If you were to one day have more streams of income than you had expenditure. Okay, put an E in the chat if that would be exciting. Okay. Wow, you all get, come on, let's get some E's in the chat. More E's in the chat. More E's in the chat. I'm going to put an E in the chat. There you go. Put some E's in the chat, guys. Put an E in the chat if you understand that you want to have more streams coming into your account than going out of your account. Because let's face it, if you've got like 100 streams of income, okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to go on now. Thank you. So rule three is to have a financial plan. So look, you want to have a short-term plan, a medium plan, and a long-term plan. So you want to know where you're going to be by the end of your life, or in 10, 20 years. You want to know where you're going to be in the middle, like, you know, maybe 5 years time, and then a short-term plan, what you're going to do in the next month. You know, maybe I'm going to make an investment in this thing. Maybe I'm going to, you know, maybe I'm going to have 5 investments by then. Maybe I'm going to have investments in like blah, 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 and like, you know, a more detailed thing. So a financial plan is, of course, a comprehensive evolution of a investor's current and future financial state by taking currently known variables and basically, you know, understanding what there is out there, and then thinking about, well, where they could go in the future and what their future values might be, and coming up with a plan with like, well, maybe if I get in now, it might go down and up, but it'll go up and then I'll take money there. Okay, so that's what having a plan is. Okay, put a P in the chat if you understand what a plan is. Okay, a financial plan. Okay, put FP in the chat if you know what a financial plan is. Okay, and financial planning is, of course, the process of making financial plans. Okay, that can help you to achieve the goals in your life. Okay, well done, guys. Guys, give yourselves a round of eights for yourselves for participating, because trust me, participation is how your life is going to change. Okay, the more you participate, then the more active your mind is, the more active you are listening, and the more this stuff actually sinks in. Otherwise, it's just some guy in a jacket and a cap just telling you stuff and you throw it away. Okay, and we want the best for you, right? Because we want the best for our community. Okay, really important. So look, this is why you need a financial plan, because you want to form your capital and to create passive income for yourself. Okay, and look, you get some amazing bonuses with our company for free, right? When you invest in your education, okay, which might have some incredible like future value, and they bring in passive income. I mean, crikey. I get so excited when I think about it. You can accumulate for your children's education. You can purchase like all the things that you want to purchase, and you can, you know, you can put money into your business. You can finance your own business. You can provide yourself with a pension starting from now, let alone from like when you retire, right? And an inheritance capital for your kids. Okay, this is why you need a financial plan. Okay, put a why in the chat if you understand why you need a financial plan. Put a why in the chat. Put a why in the chat. Okay, you understand why you need a financial plan because you want these things. Put a why in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, more whys. Come on, guys, come on. Let's go, let's go. Excellent, excellent. Okay, good. Guys, excellent, excellent, excellent work for participating, right? Believe you me, the more you participate, the more you make notes, the more you get active with your learning, the more your life will change and you will take control of your future, okay? I absolutely promise you this, okay? Yeah, this is every Tuesday and every Thursday, Raju. So come back on Thursday as well. We do the first part of the presentation, it's the same, but the second part is a different training. So stick around for that as well. Yeah, yeah, well, welcome from Peru, from the UK to Peru. Thank you so much. Right. In fact, Raju, give yourself like just stick a whole bunch of 8s in the chat for you for attending from Peru, okay? Because like I know that things can't be easy in Peru at the moment. So well done. Okay, rule number 4: diversify your portfolio. Diversification is simply don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Okay? Don't put all of your hope on one thing. Try different things, okay? Because you never know what's gonna work. Now, be intelligent. Know what you want to, you know, plan what you're going to put money in and when, and understand why you're gonna do that. But know that you're going to put a little bit into that thing, a little bit maybe into that thing, a little bit maybe into that thing, and so on and so forth, so that you're not putting all of your eggs into one basket. Put a why in the chat if that makes sense. Put a why in the chat if that makes sense. And if you're good, I might even swap to Gail for the next part. Put a why in the chat. Okay. More whys. I think Gail wants to go for the next part, the next rules of the private investor. So Gail, I'll hand over to you, okay? So okay. Take it away.
Right, if you can move on. So investment discipline. What is investment discipline? It's sticking to the plan that Mo was talking about before, okay? So you need to make sure that you've got a clear path. Where are you going to go? You know, and I always liken this to going on a motorway. So you go on a motorway, and unfortunately there's roadworks, okay, or there's been an accident, and it diverts you off that motorway because you've got a sat nav, and you just follow where that sat nav says. So you go off the motorway, okay, which takes a little bit more time. So something's come in the way, but we've got a plan. The sat nav's got a plan. We've set that sat nav. We know where it's going, and it will get back on again past those roadworks. Okay, but all the time we're sticking to the plan. So things will come along your way that may take you off plan for a little bit, but as long as you always get back onto it, then that's where you need to be. And it's having that discipline to do that as well. Okay, move on. We'll go on to rule number 6. And don't be greedy, because greediness leads to bankruptcy. Okay, so take everything that is given. Okay, so take everything that's given. Don't be too greedy. Don't think, oh, I'm going to give everything away because you know, and put it into something else because that other shiny thing is going to give me 20% a day, you know, because being greedy like that will lead to a downfall. So you've got to be really, really careful. You've got to be very, very disciplined, and don't be greedy. Okay, so greed, it makes us pursue too many goals. So stick to the goals that you're focused on, what you need to do, and find a way that you're going to get there, and you're going to stick to it. And you know, it's wasteful to be greedy as well. Okay, and it's important that whenever you're doing any form of investings in the future, as an investor, you have to control your emotions. So I remember when I was doing some training for trading, and they said, you know, you have to remove yourself away and take away all the emotion of trading. And they did actually say that women are better at it than men. I don't know how that works, but that's what they said. Okay, so you have to take the emotion away. You have to not be, you know, too greedy with it as well. You know, so that's just one example of not being greedy and taking the emotion away from everything. Okay, and you need to also, don't be lazy as well, because the laziness, when you're lazy, when you're not doing things, when you think, oh, I'd rather just sit here and do nothing and it's going to happen, well, actually, you know, breaking news, it doesn't happen. We have to put effort in to get something out. Okay, this is, and in life, things don't come just like that. Okay, you do have to work for them. You do have to have a plan, and you have to keep to that plan. You do have to keep your emotions in check. You do have to not be too greedy, and be grateful for what you've actually got, because you know that by working on it, by sharing with other people, that will bring the abundance that you're looking for. Okay, move on, and we'll go on to the 7th rule. So the 7th rule, education and self-development. Okay, this is really, really important, and it really is the key to success. Okay, and investing in your education. So when we was talking earlier on in the presentation that we did earlier on, we were showing people how you can start to invest in your education. Okay, to start learning new ways, but not only in your education, your financial education, but along your journey, you'll start to look at yourself. Okay, you'll start to see things differently, and you'll start to develop. And that is really, really important when you're looking to become a private investor, because a private investor, somebody who is who's looking for a better way of doing things than his 9-to-5 job, perhaps, needs to know how he's going to be educated to do that, and how he himself can improve to help him along his journey in doing that. And to do that, you have to invest in your education. You know, like I said before, nothing comes free, nothing's just given to you. You know, although I have to say, this company does give an awful lot. You know, it does give an awful lot back to us, not only in the gifts that we receive, but also in the education and helping us with our self-development. So next rule. So always multiply your investment profit. So always be looking for something that is going to give you more than inflation. Okay, so one of the things that I always like to talk about is, you know, some people think, well, you know, is my money safe in the bank, blah, 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 are the bank giving me enough interest? Just leaving it in the bank with no interest, inflation is eating away at your money. It's actually going down. Okay, if you're the sort of person who thinks that putting it in the safe, or putting it underneath the bed, as they used to say, having wads of money and just squirreling it away, okay, the news is that you're not getting any interest on that. You're not making any money. All that's happening is inflation is eating away at your money, and it becomes less and less and less. So you need to create, or as it says on our slide, create. I think we need to correct that. We've got to create. We've got to create some different income streams. Okay, so again, you might have to do a bit of work on this. You might have to get out of, you know, that laziness. You know, we don't want to be lazy. We want to be proactive. We want to be looking at ways that we can multiply our investment profit, and the best ways that we can do that. And looking at financial literacy, because financial literacy will help us to do that. Okay, again, earlier on in the presentation, we spoke about, you know, there's so many countries around the world where financial literacy is not the main thing that they're looking at. And even here in the UK, you know, although we might be a little bit more advanced, we're still very short on financial literacy. Okay, so we need to look at ways we can do it, and you need tools to do that. So you need the education to do it. Okay, and if you don't have the right tools, you could be losing money. So you need to, that's why education is so important. And this is what the 8 rules of a private investor do actually teach us. Okay, so if we can just move on. And I love this because this is so true. This is really true. The 8 wonders of the world. What is the 8 wonders of the world? Okay, we all know, you know, the Taj Mahal and Victoria Falls and the many more, too many to mention the wonders of the world. But the 8th wonder of the world is compounding. Okay, once you understand what compounding does, okay, it is going to be something that you're going to be working with. And you're going to really love what you see. So what is compounding? So let's try and break this down. So I have $100, okay, and that $100 is earning interest. So let's keep it simple and say it's earning 10%. So my $100 is now worth $110, okay. If I don't compound and every day I take my 10%, okay, so every day I'm taking $10. So I've still got my $100. So when the next time I compound at 10%, I'm going to make another $10, and so on and so on. So throughout, say, the week, over 7 days, I've made 10% a day. I'm being very generous, but never mind. I've made 10% a day. I'm just keeping it for ease. I've made $70 on my $100. Now, if I compound that and I don't take that $10, the next day, I'm now going to be making money on $110. So the first day I'd make $100 and make £10. The second day would be $110. The third day, let me get my calculator because it's late at night. We'll have a look at it. Sorry, 110 plus 10% will be 121. The next day would be 133. The next day would be 146. The next day would be 161. And the next day, 177. Have I got another day left? I think I may have. So instead of having $70, I've now made a bigger profit. But because I've made a bigger profit, it's all starting to add up. So you imagine if you're doing that on $100 or $1,000 or $10,000, okay, and instead of taking the interest and putting it somewhere or just leaving it there under your bed where it's not actually doing anything, if you compound, okay, and you're adding it to, then the cumulative interest at the end of it, you know, the amount that you're going to get will be a lot more. So cumulative interest, so this is the sum of all interest payments on a loan for a certain period of time. For a depreciable loan, cumulative interest will increase with a decreasing rate. So an example of this is a mortgage. Okay, so if you look at your mortgage and you're paying a certain amount of interest every month and you're paying some capital off it, you know, by the time you get to the say you've took it over 25 years, by the time you get to 15 years, say, you're paying more off the capital than you are in interest. Okay, so that's how cumulative interest works as well. So if we could move along. And this is your financial plan and compounding interest. Now, obviously, it's quite an in-depth slide, this one, and can get a little confusing. So we'll just pick one of them. You know, so if you've got 8% a month on, we'll go down the middle, $300 investment amount, which is the 10% that we spoke about. So we're going to invest the $30 a month, and it's going to show you that after 1 year, if you was capitalizing it, so it's compounding interest, so it's going up and up and up, would be $614 on the second year, you know, by saving that $30 a month, and it's being added on, and interest is being added on. It's $6,062 till 10 years down the line, just saving them that $30 a month and not touching it and leaving it to compound. Okay, after 10 years, you could be looking at, is it 4,152,000? Okay, so it's massive, it's huge. Okay, and a lot of, if you look at a traditional type pension, it doesn't compound your money. Okay, so this is your pension. This is something that you can do yourself and put away and think, well, I'm not going to touch that. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to find the best place to put it, what's paying me the highest interest, and that may be something not like it's certainly not going to be a traditional bank. You know, it may be you're going to put it into gold. It may be you're going to put it into diamonds. It may be that you're going to put it into you know, our global portfolio. It could be anything, but something that's going to pay you a decent amount every month. The banks won't pay you 8% a month, believe me, we all know that. Okay, so if we could just move on. Capitalisation. I'm going to hand over to Mo for capitalisation.
Excellent. Okay, so guys, please put a round of 8s in the chat for Gail, because that was really, really cool. Thank you so much, Gail. Thank you so much. Did we learn something? Put an 8 in the chat if you learned something. Put an 8 in the chat just to say thank you to Gail. Guys, remember, excellent, thank you. Yeah, well, you know, like, honestly, you know, we want you to go away with some knowledge, okay? And also, for those of you that have heard it all before, we're hoping that you're going to pick up a bit more as well. But of course, if you have come into our organization and you've started watching some of the videos in the back office, then you're going to be learning about all this stuff a lot more in depth, okay? And it is a real pleasure to serve you, Raju. Thank you so much for your kind comments, okay? Because, you know, that's the whole point. You know, we want to be spreading this stuff. We want to show you what we've got, okay? So here's the basis of capitalization. The term capitalization comes from the word capital, and therefore it's nice to know what the meaning of the word capital actually is. So the term capital in the accounting literature means the equity of the company. The net worth is actually the assets minus the liabilities. So if someone has a net worth of $1 million, then what that means is that they've got assets minus liabilities, and the total is a positive $1 million, okay? Economists use the word capital to mean all accumulated wealth used to produce additional wealth. So net worth is also called the carrying value or the share capital, okay? So this is my favorite slide, because what this shows is a really cool thing, okay? If you were able to save $30 a month for 30 years, so you can work this out in a calculator, $30 times 12 months times 30 years, then that would equal $10,800 that you would save if you just took that $30 and put it under your pillow or under your mattress every month, okay, for 30 years. You'd have $10,800. Now, compare that $10,800 with if you were to invest that $30 every month. into something that delivers 1% per month, or because there's 12 months in a year, 12% per year. Okay, then actually after 30 years of doing that, you wouldn't only have $10,800, you would have $105,000. Okay, put a Y in the chat if you would like to have $105,000. Put an N in the chat if you would like to have $10,000 after 30 years. Put a Y in the chat or an N in the chat, but I think it's a Y. I think you want to put a Y in the chat. Exactly, you want $105,000, right, after 30 years. So the term capitalization, so the term capital is the capital is the money that you first put in. I think it's going to go on the next slide. But basically, if you were to minus the 105,000 from the 10,000 that you would have, you would reveal the capitalization of this investment. Okay, which is 95,000. Thank you for your interaction, guys. Well done. Thank you. Right, so if Mr. X, let's call him Peter and let's call him Yannick, okay? So let's say Peter, since 1986, saved $200 over 30 years, but Yannick saved $400, but only over 20 years because he's a little bit later. Who do you think is in the better position? So they both put him into something that's producing 8% per annum. Who do you think is doing better? Do you think Peter, who's saving half as much but 10 years longer, or do you think Yannick, who's saving double the amount every month but starting 10 years later? Who do you think is going to do better? Put an X in the Y if you think X is going to do better, or put a Y in the chat if you think Y is going to do better. So come on, guys, it's a game. Put an X in the chat if you think X is going to do better, or Y in the chat if Y is going to do better. Just put something just to say what you think. Just put a guess. So this person saves half the amount but 10 years longer. This person saves double the amount but 10 years less. Okay. Oh, Rowena's gone for X. Anyone else going for X? Gail's going for X. I know the answer, and you know, I won't tell you about Gail. But yes, Raj has put an X. Raju's put an X. Okay, good. Well, do you know what? I believe that actually you've all got it right, because actually it is true. It is actually X that makes a better investment. So remember, he saves half as much, which is amazing because he has a greater comfort of life, because he can spend that $200 a month instead for 30 years. Whereas the other guy, he's saving for, you know, way more than he needed to be for starting 10 years later. And this is the results. I mean, basically, Mr. X puts in, you know, $72,000 over his 30 years, and he winds up with $281,000 at the end of it. But Mr. Y puts in $96,000 is the initial capital, and the capitalization is not that much more. In fact, it's not even getting onto what Mr. X gets after 30 years. So just to look at it, so yeah, so basically the investment plus the capital plus the income added up is the 281,000, and the capitalization is, of course, the 281 minus the 72 is 209,000 is the gap. Okay, so you can do this exercise if you want. I myself have actually done it, and I can actually prove it. And it took me a very, very, very long time, maybe even like 2 days. And you can see I did like 8 pages of handwritten calculations, which was ridiculous. It hurt my back. But do you know what? I won't go through the results of it, but I'll just tell you, suffice to say, that extra 1%, what this game is basically, if you assume that you are investing $100 into something that is accumulating at a rate of 1% per month, or 2% per month, or 3% per month, then actually, if you calculate that every month for 25 years, I went for 30 years, then the actual amount, it makes a massive, massive difference. Okay, just that 1% difference. Okay, you might be staggered to find out. So why don't we just, I'll show you the final results. Okay, so let's say that I do €100 per month at 1% every month in something that's compounding at 1% per month. Do you think that I have broken $1 million after 30 years? Put a yes in the chat if you think yes. Put a no in the chat if you think no. Not you, Gail. Because I don't know, Gail, it's okay. I tell you what, you can play the you can play the, oh, but she knows, but is she getting it right? Is she leading them the wrong way or the right way, whatever? So do you think?
I might not know at all.
Okay, so yeah, well, so basically after 30 years, do you reckon it's gonna be do you reckon it's gonna be over $1 million if you do that, right? $100 a month into something that delivers 1% per month every month for 30 years. Yes or a no? What do you think, Gail? You take a guess. Okay, Reggie thinks yes, Gail thinks yes. Okay, we've got a couple of yeses. Okay, Rowena thinks yes. Okay, awesome. Okay, are you from Peru as well, Rowena? Quesada, right? So, well, it's a Spanish language name. So, in fact, yeah, like, where are you from? Put where you're from as well. That's the, oh, Philippines. Oh yeah, of course. Okay, Philippines. Wow. Okay. So yeah, okay. Yeah. So look, guess what? It's actually only 1/3 of a million that you get if you make it that way. But if you do just 1% more, so if it's just 2%, right? Do you think it's more than $1 million, or do you think it is less than $1 million? What do you think? So put a yes or a no in the chat again. So if it's the middle one, the 2% case. Yeah, you got it wrong. But do you know what? I would have thought so as well, to be honest, had I not done the exercise. But yeah, so the middle case at 2%, do you think you've broken $1 million, or yeah, okay, do you think you've broken 10 million? Yes or no? In fact, why don't you take a guess? Do you think it's like about 5 million? Do you think it's about 10 million? Do you think it's about 1 million? What do you think it is? Put a 1 or a 5 or a 10 just for the ballpark. About 1 million. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else want to wager a guess? What do you think you would have? I've broken it down. I've kind of ruined the surprise a little bit. But is it? Do you reckon you have 1 million at the end of 30 years, or 5 million by the end of 30 years, or 10 million by the end of 30 years? What do you think? Some, more guesses. It's okay to be wrong. About 1.5 million. Okay. I'm liking the creativity. Rowena, what do you think? Just hazard a guess. Just put a 1, a 5, or a 10. Doesn't matter if you don't understand the question. Just put something. A 1. Okay, awesome. Well, actually, the correct answer is it's closest to the 5, right? It's actually, you get 6.5 million. If you save €100 per month into something that delivers you 2% per month, and you do that for 30 years, you get $6.5 million by the end of that. It's ridiculous, right? Especially given that you had like 1/3 of a million doing it. Just that 1% makes such a massive difference. I won't go into the third case, but we can do that another time. Come back next week to find out about that. Okay, but otherwise it's getting kind of boring. Right. Okay, so Do you know what? I think I'm going to pass you on to Gail for this. Gail, I think it's time for the next speaker. Do you want to do this next bit?
I will, but I hope I don't get it wrong.
Oh well, there's no game in this. You take it on. You take it on.
So we need to know what we need to do next in order to live your dream. And do you want to live it in 3 months? Okay. Or do you want it, you know, what do you want your dream to be? You know, do you want it for now? Do you want it for the future? Do you want it for in 10 years? You know, you have to know what you need to do next in order to live your dreams. Okay, if we can move on. We're done. I think we're done. Yeah. So although it was very brief and short, I've never done that last slide actually. So I was a bit perplexed in what I was actually supposed to do, to be perfectly honest.
Well, look, guys.
So at least I finished off where I got it wrong.
guys. So here's the thing. Imagine, Gail, that was amazing. But imagine where you can be in 3 months' time, because it really is possible to completely change where you are with this company within 3 months. Okay, it's actually possible. Okay, we've seen it done. Yeah, you do need to know, and this is it. You know, the first thing is, and you don't even need to start big. You don't need to start big, right? I'm going to leave you with this. Okay. Our very own Elena, whom you saw earlier, okay, I believe, and I don't know if Elena is still here, so she can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that 6 years ago, well, I think she started in about 2014, but I think that when she was a hairdresser, you know, you know, single mother, and like, you know, she didn't really have anything. She signed up to the company and just had a lot of trust. And actually, I don't believe that I believe that she started signing people up first rather than putting money into it herself. Okay. And then because other people were signing up and they were funding, and then she was making some money from them coming in. Okay. Then she had money in the back office to invest. She wasn't taking it out. She was investing it. She was compounding her gains. And then that's where she started. And, you know, now, now, I mean, I remember at the beginning of this year, Elena shared a really magical thing with me. A few years later, she is like, you know what, Mo? Like now, it's like, if I want to buy stuff, like for my flat, because she lives in a really nice flat in London, right? If I want to buy stuff, I just buy it. You know, I just buy it now. And she could not have had that. And she started with literally no investment. Okay. She just signed up. And then she signed other people up, and as that grew. So this is literally accessible to all. Now, if you're able to put some money in and start saving 10% of your income, and maybe saving that up until you can afford an EIP, right? An education package, and buy an education package, because obviously the quicker you get started, the better. Okay. But if you can do that, then actually, you know what, it starts now. And we have, because we're going to grow to 10 million people in September. And when we grow to 10 million people in September, that means we're putting on 8.5 million people, right? If you're bringing in a significant amount of those people, trust me, you're going to make so much money in the back office, right? You're going to be able to take a little bit out as well as compounding it and compounding your gains and getting, you know, acquiring more and more crew as a bonus, right? And then, you know, even after the crew isn't distributed in that way, there'll be something else that is equally awesome, you know, and you're building your portfolio, your worth. And it's always, we only do things that have a really massive chance of going massively big, you know, and we know how, we follow our own rules that we've just taught you. That's the clue. So guys, dream really big. You can actually change your life in 3 months if you really want to. So guys, put an A in the chat if you think the future is amazing. Put an A in the chat for amazing if you think the future is amazing. Okay. Yes, loads of A's. Exactly. Come on, guys, A's, because it is. It really is. Your life can change from here. Your life can change from here. I know me myself. I'm full time on this now. Is what I'm doing. And there are many people that are full time on this. And when digital doubles comes along, trust me, that is going to accelerate stuff as well. Okay. So guys, it's been a real pleasure to serve you. So I'm going to say goodbye. And Gail, if you want to unmute and you can say, you can take us out.
Yeah. So thank you all for your precious time. I really hope that you've got something from this tonight, from the presentation and from the training. Thanks very much to Mo, as always, brings us so much energy. I'm more quieter and reserved. I don't have the energy, and I keep forgetting to set up the
energy, Gail. You've got so much energy, Gail. Honestly, you bring wisdom, right? And Winston.
I'm an old wise owl. Yeah, I'm the old wise owl. Yeah, no, thanks very much, and I've really enjoyed it this evening. I hope you have too. And Thursday, don't forget Thursday, same time, 7 o'clock. Bring somebody with you to the presentation. You know, yes, we want you there as well, because the more you see this, the more you understand it, the more you learn. Okay, but we also want you to share it with other people. You know, the fact that you're sharing it with other people, you know, means you care about them and you want them to see what you've seen tonight. Okay, so come in on Thursday, 7 o'clock. Magda, Blaze, Jacqueline, maybe Alina, probably Mo, maybe on. You know, so please come on Thursday, and a different training for you on Thursday. We've got business training, which will blow you away and will help you, you know, and help you move forward. So please join in on that on Thursday, and we'll speak to you soon. And thank you very much to Alina. Alina's been fantastic, done her part in the presentation tonight. So thanks very much, and we'll speak to you all soon. Night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.